At this time, we'll open the meeting for the Carver Conservation Commission for February 20th, 2019. First order of business, some appointments and discussions. And I understand our first discussion is with the Eagle Scouts. If you'd come up.
Do we need to make a
We have to
motion
make a motion to do that?
to change
No.
the order?
Oh,
No,
It's an appointment discation, no time attached to it. I think
Okay.
it's at the
I
chairman's
see one or
discretion.
two on it or anything.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
yeah.
very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, young man.
So these guys requested to come in because they want to do some work. They'll let them explain to you, but that's...
Improve the town?
Yeah.
Improve, yes.
Yeah, they got a couple of real nice ideas, I
All
think.
right.
That's all right. Good.
Should I speak into the mic for this one, or just, yeah?
Speak into the microphone.
Into the mic. Hi, my name is Ben Diogenes. I am a Life Scout with Troop 48. I'm talking about my Eagle project. My plan for my Eagle project is to go to Johns Pond and remove trash and unwanted debris from the beach, install 2 metal picnic tables to using an auger and chain. Then I will be constructing a border on the site. It's going to be about 70 feet long, but it will not be blocking transportation for emergency vehicles or fire. It's going to be consisting of wooden 4x4s, mulch, and bushes. I'm also going to be moving the cement barricades that are around the site in the woods out in front into the parking lot. And I will be cutting back some of the brush that is protruding into the grassy area, but I will not be cutting down anything like trees in the woods. Volunteers will be from my troop and the school. I will also be putting out notices for the dates once the dates come closer, so that I'm sure that they will be occurring to ask for volunteers. And aside from permission here tonight, I will be receiving permission from the Board of Selectmen at their next meeting if I am on the agenda, and I have just received permission from the Carver Recreational Committee.
And
Do you have any
can you
questions?
sign in too, so just make sure I...
Yeah,
Oh, did you sign it? Yeah,
Sign.
get your name. Good. So that's all in John's Pond. And you said a boardwalk, right? Did you say a little boardwalk?
Border.
Border, not a
Border.
boardwalk.
Yeah.
Okay,
No problem.
And a picnic table.
a picnic,
2 picnic tables.
2 picnic.
Two picnic tables.
No? How's that sound?
And a picnic basket.
Sounds good to me.
We might need to have a food truck even.
I think so.
Is a retention, they're gonna build a retention wall?
I think this is a great idea. I'm cheating because I was at the selectmen's meeting last night, so I already heard some of this. And I think this is a great idea. The only thing I would recommend you do, and you might as well make mention of it tonight while this is also recorded, where do we donate?
So I cannot ask for donations until I've gotten approval from the, there's a board for the Boy Scouts that has to approve my project.
Okay?
Once they approve my project, they say it is fit to be an Eagle project. Then I can set up a place to accept donations, but I am not allowed to do any setup beforehand.
Fair
That's
enough.
one of the rules I have
So
to follow.
So as soon as you find out, as soon as you get that permission, okay, let the agent know. And then
Yes.
we can announce it at a future meeting.
Yeah.
And that way, the public will be aware that somebody really cares and is going to be working hard.
Absolutely, thank you.
You state here that you want to build a border to separate the parking lot from the beach area. How would that be done?
So there is a picture on the back. It is the third picture on the top. It's showing a tape measure. That is where I will be installing a wall. It's going to be I'm going to dig down about 2 inches. I'll be installing a section about 3 feet wide with wooden 4x4s on each side, filling the middle with mulch, and then planting donated bushes into there.
Okay, so where you say border in the top of the paragraph and retention wall at the bottom, it's the same thing?
It is the same thing.
Okay.
I like it.
I do too.
Piece of peach.
Is anyone from planning, or you might want to consider when you're, just before you're getting ready to do this, maybe have Brooke go to the site, or you can grab one of the other members, and just to have them walk you through it, just so you know where you really can't what you can do and what you can't touch kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Just so that you don't cause yourself a problem.
Yeah, you don't want to violate the Wetlands Act. So we'd be glad to help you out in any way we can.
Okay, thank you.
And remember, if you do a good job, we'll probably have about 13 more for you, so.
I know Jim's got work that needs to be done at his house.
In his yard.
Say if we just took down a couple of trees on his house.
Okay, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that's one project.
That's
Yeah, we
one.
got the- now
We
we
got
got
another
Is there a
Samson's
motion that
one.
needs to be made for this,
Not
or?
until the second one's read.
Informational, it doesn't have to be.
Oh, just a, okay, just a discussion.
Before we can move on to Sampson's, about how far away from the water's edge is the border that you're planning on?
I would say it's about, I was going to estimate, I have not measured it out yet, but I would say well over 150 feet.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
all right, great.
That works.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. Hello, my name is Alex Diogenes. I am also a life scout with Troop 48, and I plan on making a small recreational area on Simpson's Pond. It's going to be between the COA building and the tennis courts in that small flat area. I will be constructing 2 horseshoe pits and and bocce ball. How they'll be configured, well, it isn't perfectly to size. You can see in the third diagram. I will also be making a small border made of donated telephone poles to make sure that people don't go drive their cars right over there and damage the property. I'm hoping that it's going to be, it's going to bring entertainment for both the seniors who go to the COA and also just the general residents of Carver. Hopefully it will bring more people to Sampson's to beyond just the swimming and sunbathing, but also just to generally enjoy themselves with physical activities.
Great.
Do telephone poles have creosote?
I used to play bocce ball down in New York City when I lived there and worked there. There are a lot of small courts in various corners of parks.
Again, how far away is the bocce ball court and so forth from the pond itself?
Oh, from the pond itself, easily over 200 feet, I'd say. It's a good distance. It's behind the tennis courts.
Yeah, that's fine.
The only question that Brooke had is, the telephone poles, are they still dipped in creosote?
How they
I
probably
thought
are.
about that.
I don't think the newer ones are put into an oven and
So they're
they're
pressure treated.
and are pressure treated. The older ones are, they have creosote in them.
Right.
We
I
prefer
don't
not
consider
to
it
use
a
the
serious
creosote
problem in
ones.
that,
You know the
They're far-
difference,
I mean,
right?
what do you say? They're
Okay.
100 feet.
If they're green, they're good.
So I don't see that being an issue.
It's that easy, okay?
Oh, okay.
You see any black stuff on them, that's creosote,
Okay.
okay?
So try and find the green ones.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But you said that it's over 200 feet away?
Yes,
from the pond? Okay, so he's quite a ways away from.
It's
the
300, 250 feet or something.
Yeah.
So it's going right behind the tennis courts?
yes.
going
On
between
the
the tennis
pond
courts,
side of the tennis courts?
between the building and the tennis courts?
In the building, the tennis court.
Yes, between the building and the tennis
Oh,
courts.
it is?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, take a
So
look
that
at
should-
the,
Yeah, that's plenty,
Here.
that's far enough
I got
away.
you.
I see that little dot in the bottom right corner, is that where it's going? Where it's going?
Dot in the bottom right corner.
Yeah,
Oh, the
little-
circle? That one right there?
well, that's just behind the,
Well, no.
the second photograph
picture
here, it's
here.
behind
this
that
one.
building. It's
That little shed you see on that third picture,
Oh, that's
that's where
what-
the outside refrigerator
sir.
is. So it's right behind that building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's in between the building and the tennis court, so they're
Okay.
miles away from the
Yeah,
pond.
Oh.
they're not
So sorry,
affecting the pond in any way,
so the first image was just to give a general idea of the area.
yeah. We got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And the same thing, when you
I like-
finally get your approval and stuff like that, let Brooke know. And I know the selectmen will make the announcement, and we'll also make the announcement, so
Yeah.
that, people are made aware
Help you
of it.
guys out with the
So
donations.
then you do the, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much.
You might get some volunteers from the senior citizens that use the center so
Yeah.
much.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chiefs, no Indians.
They'd probably be happy to have that,
Oh, here we
especially if
go.
they're,
They would be,
Yeah.
actually.
a lot of them probably play bocce. Okay, our
I
next
like
item.
bocce, that's fine.
Any other business, Brooke, not listed, right? No CLC requests.
17 Wareham.
Oh, yeah, it's
What's
okay.
the next
So
discussion?
we have a discussion on 17 Wareham Street. Okay, folks, come on.
So I should attach all this stuff to the minutes.
Can I have those back, Saber? That's your idea.
Sign in, please.
Got these from Dee.
So we should attach all this stuff to the minutes.
So,
They'll know.
I'll sign in.
Okay. Well, I can't remember your name.
Chris.
Chris. I saw Chris in Town Hall today, and I explained to him that, you know, after the last meeting, we all wanted to do a site visit. So I explained to him that we did a site visit, and that, you know, we had some concerns about the cutting that's been going on at the river and things like that. So I figured, since he was in Town Hall, I figured he could come and
Oh, you,
we can figure out what to do. And those-
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, go ahead,
Start
Ken.
in with a few things?
Yeah.
You have several violations on that site. Number one is, one of the things that are logs, that's not for personal use. I was under the impression, speaking with you a couple of weeks ago, that all those logs were personal use. It's not personal use, it's just way too many. You have that issue. You have the issue of stumps being thrown over the bank next to the water.
Yeah.
You have a clearing area that you cleared down and back. There's a 200-foot line that you can't go near. Everything that you've done is within the 200 feet. So you have an issue. And we're going to discuss what we can do to help you resolve that issue tonight. But it's got to be resolved and has to be resolved immediately. We have a thing called an enforcement order. And basically, an enforcement order we fill out, you'll receive a copy of it. A copy of it goes to Lakeville, to the state, and they'll ensure that it's taken care of as well as us. This is, to us, this is very serious. We don't usually do enforcement orders, or we rarely do them. But this one, these violations deserve that. You should have known your violations, you should have known what you could do on the river before you did it. There are so many violations down there that we're just going to list them all. And you have to rectify the situation. If it's not rectified, it goes to court.
And there's a monetary fee administered for.
Yes.
And once a decision's been made, there's a per diem fine for a failure to act. So I'm sorry, but we have to take these steps. It would have been good if you'd perhaps inquired a little further before doing some of these things. However, the upland bog, as it's nominally called, is not suitable now to be considered an upland bog. So I think that will probably, you'll probably lose your 61A classification for that. And so you're going to be expecting a hike in your taxes.
Is it classified 61A?
No,
Yes, it
no,
is.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
It's not under 61A, but you're trying to put it back into 61A? Was that the?
No, it is under 61A. We have multiple bogs, so we don't just have that one side.
Yes,
Know
we have
that,
several
but what's
other
the
bogs.
issue you have with the assessor? You have something before the assessor right now concerning the 61A status. I spoke with her yesterday.
To my knowledge, I don't have anything. I have not received any notice from her or any
Well,
issues from anybody.
you've applied to have it continued in 61A though, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's the issue.
Okay,
Okay.
so it is in 61A now?
Yes.
Yes.
And- Okay.
So, if I may, Mr. Chairman, here's the problem, all right? This is the most lenient board in the town of Carver. It truly is. I mean, we bend over backwards for everybody to do everything we possibly can so that everybody can live the way they want to live on their own property. I have a couple of personal issues with this. First off, the two-fireplace, it's our own wood. There's enough wood there for 25 years with two fireplaces, but that's my opinion. I have a problem with pine that you know you can't burn, so we just dump it over the bank, which is right on top of the riverfront. I have a problem with ground asphalt being put in as a ramp into the bog. I have a problem with clearing down to the riverfront. fresh cutting. I have a problem with debris that's not 50 feet from the riverfront when we have a 200-foot setback. The 200-foot setback, you're going to lose the entire bog. Because if we look at the overhead from the riverfront marking, go back 200 feet, and everything, including that trailer that's parked on the bogs, got to go. That ground asphalt, got to go. So we're not out here to destroy you. We don't want to hurt you. This should have been, you put the cart so far in front of the horse on this. You should have come to planning, you should have come to conservation, and you should, this is what I'm trying to do. How can you make this work for me? And this board and planning would have bent over backwards for this. But there's so many violations here now that there's no way without setting a horrific precedent in this town that we can just sit back and say, yeah, we understand, okay, we'll issue a variance, go ahead and continue what you're doing. Because if that's going to be the case, then this board might as well just disband, go get a coffee, go home, and there's no more Conservation Commission in the town of Carver. There's just too much. I would strongly recommend, so you don't get yourself in a whole lot more hot water,
You're in hot now.
when this is over and done with, we'll issue an order that you be asked to clean this up. There's no monetary fines involved and stuff, but I do promise you this.
As of yet.
Well, I'm getting to that part. I do promise you that if it gets ignored and you throw it in the trash, it's going to get very expensive on your part. It's much easier for you to come back in tomorrow, sit down with Brooke, sit down with Stephen Cole, the planning director, and find out what else can we do here and how can we operate what we're trying to operate and stay out of hot water. That would be my recommendation. This is one of these deals where you would have gotten much more with honey than you're going to get with vinegar. And this situation, and we haven't even got back into putting back the stuff you cut. You know what I mean? You can't cut down to the riverfront. So this board has the authority to make you put plantings back. We don't want to put anybody through that. We're not cops. This is not what we try to do. We try to make it so everybody comes out a winner. And this is the least fun part of the Conservation Commission, and in my service, this is the least fun that I want to do in the whole wide world, is come here on a Wednesday night and
Bark.
chastise somebody for doing something. We've done it once before, and I hated it, and I hate it even worse tonight. That's my nickel.
So,
So Mr. Chairman, I would at this time recommend that we issue an enforcement order detailing all the issues that we have on it, the copy being sent down to Lakeville. A copy goes to our files, of course, and it also goes to the landowner to have them rectify the entire situation. That I would put a time period on this to be rectified. And as far as maybe maybe replanting, in my opinion, there's no maybe about it. It has to be replanted down there. And the 200 feet doesn't start at the edge of the water, starts at the edge of the BVW, which means the high water mark. So take your measurement, and I'm going to recommend that a surveyor give the 200-foot line on a plan.
we're going to need to have it
Yes,
freshly surveyed
absolutely.
and marked.
Survey, a total survey of that area with the 200-foot and the 65, so we know where the 65 is. That is my recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
Can I ask one quick question, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Is there a way we can do this and end up at the same result without quite this mess of paperwork and Lakeville? Can we maybe hear from the homeowner what he's willing to do without us having to make this etched in stone official?
Alan, they were here 2 weeks ago.
I know. I'm
And you
trying to-
heard what they said then.
I'm trying to find a little bit of leniency in the whole
Well, I
thing.
understand what you're trying to do, but we have to document this. It's nothing that I want to do either,
It's,
but it has to be documented.
I hate this.
Well, the only other thing you could do, you could do it, through an after-the-fact notice of intent.
Yeah.
But that doesn't,
I don't think
It
that's
doesn't,
right.
yeah, it doesn't really
There's no
say
permit.
cease and
No, you
desist.
You're
can't.
not gonna get
Well,
a permit
you'll
for
get
it.
an order of conditions, he'll have to not do anything, file for, for what he wants to do, and then, but that would include restoring the area and,
Can we write the enforcement order and share it with the homeowners
yeah.
and not send it in for a certain
We
amount
could-
of time?
We
Oh,
could
sure.
do that, yes, we could.
And allow them,
Yeah. Oh, believe
Train or
me,
mediate.
DEP is probably not gonna do anything with it
Well,
right
that's my
anyway,
question.
so,
I mean,
but,
They plenty would-
we have the enforcement order pending
yeah,
within our group and allow the homeowners to see what the enforcement order, all the things that we
Yeah.
list on here that are violations,
Yeah.
and allow them to come and speak with you and speak with Mr. Cole,
yeah.
and come up with a plan to mitigate everything on the list
If we go with
within a
that,
certain time.
if we go with that, I want a definite time period.
Yes, I agree.
Definite time, no
I
ifs,
agree.
ands, or buts, no, it was raining, we couldn't do it, none of that.
well, again, I'd like to hear from
I agree.
the owners if this is, agreeable. We're trying to not make a big to-do out of this.
Not only, we're trying to not make it too much more expensive than it is
That's right.
going to be, because there will be costs for you, and it's unfortunate, but if we can keep them to a lower level, I'd be happy. So we'll have to, what we should do is the agent probably should work up a prospective,
So, write up the enforcement order.
Right.
You would have to sign it,
yeah,
Yes.
and then before it goes anywhere to DEP or anybody, we can have
So we're put a hold
Ashley
on
and-
it.
Yeah, and Chris look at it, and then see, talk to them about rectifying it, and talk to, I guess,
Well,
Stephen too, but-
we should write up the enforcement order, do the time ourselves, get everything done,
Mm-hmm.
and present it to the homeowners, and this is what you gotta get done.
and then we can start
Period.
say, a time clock on that, say 14 days, 28 days, whatever we
Yeah.
Well, I
feel.
think, to be honest with you, I think with the number of logs and everything and all that other stuff they have to do, I'd give them a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28 days.
It's gonna take all of that. There's a lot of work
And
there.
depends on
And
the weather and stuff.
Obviously,
especially
you have
weather.
other work to do.
And getting those logs out from, off the riverbed
Mm.
is gonna be difficult. The replanting, they're not gonna be able to do that till March.
Right,
No, but it's gonna have to be replanted.
Yeah,
And I don't know what you're gonna do with that ramp.
we'll clean it off. Oh,
Ramp's got to go.
you mean the blacktop?
Yeah, it's gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so, we gotta put that, let's us put the enforcement order together,
Mm-hmm.
and then just give it to them, they have to fix it.
When we,
If you don't wanna send it to Lakeville,
yeah, we don't have to send it, they're not gonna do
No.
anything with it right away anyway.
Well, they file that thing and they keep it pretty handy.
Yeah,
They'll be
but
out there before
they
you know
typically
it.
won't do anything if the, person who violated, ignored us and kept
Yeah.
working and things like that, then it's more kind of DP, but, yeah, we'll try not to get them. I don't-
All right,
okay, so,
I'm not,
I would also just say, do you have, as Alan has said, do you have anything you want to add tonight? I mean, we can't just let you go without having your say here.
No, I did everything before. I was just ignorant to the rules, and I did everything before I knew the rules. So
Okay.
I messed up, and this is the steps we need to take to fix it.
All right. So I think that just so we're clear, we're going to be doing an enforcement order and sharing it with you and you alone for the time being. But for you to get a head start in thinking about how you're going to mitigate this, the things that we're going to ask you to do are remove the logs from the bog itself, remove the reconstituted asphalt ramp that goes into that bog. Looking at the Google Earth map and the scale to it, that entire bog, almost the full southern border of that bog, is about the 200-foot line from the river. So that entire bog
Bog has to be cleared out.
has to be cleared before we can start talking. And we're going to need you at some point to get a surveyor in there to exactly delineate where the 200-foot is. The issue really isn't the fact that you're on an upland bog. The issue is really that you're 200 feet from a river. That's the really important thing here. That we understand that the bog is upland. It's not been used in probably 4 or 5 years based on Google Earth history.
and what we see.
But it's not so much the bog that's the issue, it's the 200 feet from the water. If that was plain land, upland, it would still be a problem. The fact that it's a bog is irrelevant in this case. It's just that 200 feet away from a riverfront can't be altered, and that's state law. That's not Carver bylaws, that's state law. Okay?
The 65-foot is a Carver bylaw, which is a no-touch zone.
But that's off the wetlands, that's not.
That's off the
riverfront.
wetlands,
Right.
right, exactly so, but
So
there's a
that-
lot
that
within that
extends to the bog,
65-foot.
obviously.
You gotta get those stumps off the river. You gotta get them out
That
of there.
pine's gotta go.
Yeah, it's all gotta go. So
Like I said, this is.
basically, you know what's coming, okay? We'll put it together and we'll share it with you. We can share it, and then I would suggest we send a certified letter to them with the enforcement order in it so they know what, so legally,
Yeah, it
They
has to
know
go
they
out.
have it.
It's gotta go out certified.
right, okay.
And we'll
Registered
get
mail.
that out to you, and, you might wanna come back in, maybe get you on the agenda for our next meeting, or actually, the next meeting, you can give us a plan on what your thoughts are and what your time frame
Once
might
they have
be.
a chance to look at
You
the
know,
order.
we're not looking for you to go out and move this stuff in a snowstorm. We just need you to know that you can't, there's no other permit with any other department that's gonna overdo this. This is the 200 feet, the riverfront, planning won't touch it, ZBA
state law.
can't touch it,
That's state law.
that's it. And it's not our rule, this is what it is. If it was just simple wetlands, yeah, we could give you a variance up to the 65-foot mark. But it's not, it's riverfront, and that's a whole other can of worms. And it ties our hands behind our back a lot harder. So I'm just trying to make this so it's not, without making a big deal out of this. I understand, and I have no doubt in my mind that you probably just didn't know, and that's okay. There's no law against that. I understand that. But at this point in time, before you can do anything else, you gotta find out now what you can and can't do. Especially when you buy into a place that's got cranberry bogs and stuff like that, and you're dealing with all this wetlands, which is half a Carver, and now you got a riverfront issue. So you really need to know, to keep yourself from getting into the hot water jam again, understand what you can and can't do. No one's trying to put you out of business. No one's trying to not let you do what you want to do to make a living for your family by any means. But we can't just close our eyes to it, because then we get the next guy up the street who wants to do the same thing on twice that scale. And then it'll be, well, you let Wareham Street do it. So here we go, and then we're off to the races. So we're trying to avoid that.
So would I have that property surveyed to find out where the 200-foot line mark is? Then I can figure out where I can put that wood? So at least I have till I have it surveyed
Yes,
to move the wood, to at least, I don't, so I don't have to move it 3 or 4 times.
correct.
Right.
Yes, and,
That would be the
and,
best thing.
But that
As-
should be surveyed soon.
as we said, we're not going to send this into Lakeville. This will be just between us and you until you come back with a plan on what it is you're going to do. So yes, I would probably start with the survey, have the 200-foot from the wetlands, from the riverfront marked, and also the 65-foot, because the 65-foot really is a no-touch zone. That's where your stumps have been dumped over the edge, and that's where it's been clear-cut down to the river's edge,
That's the edge.
at that little promontory that goes into the river. And now all that has to, as Tim said, that we may require replanting. A lot of it, I think, will grow back on its own, because it still looked fairly fresh. It was cut down at the ground level, but the roots weren't disturbed. So I think just coming back with a plan on what you're going to do, and I would think that starting with the survey would be right, so you know where you can put the stuff.
And I'd make a good faith effort. I mean, get the surveyor lined up and take the little stuff first. Get the trash out of there, get the pallets out of there, get the cut logs that are over the bank out of there, and deal with the log length stuff last, if you will. Because that's
After the
really,
survey is done,
it's not
right.
going anywhere. So why move the stuff 4 times? So are we gonna be so hard? If you get a survey and you find that you can put those logs on the side of the bog area where your driveway is,
Fine.
then move them once. We're not telling you to go move them and put them in your living room, and then later on come back and put them where you want to put them. So do the easy stuff first. Get the broken stuff off the embankment and get the trash out of there and get that end, that river end of the bog cleaned out. Leave the pile where it is and get yourself a survey. Then you know where you gotta go, so that you're only moving the log length stuff once.
Do you have a plot plan that you might have had, when you bought the
Sound
house?
okay
Yeah,
with you?
that's fine.
I mean, I'm just thinking, if you had an engineer or a surveyor who did that,
Gotta bring
it
a
would be
machine in
easier to
to do that.
get them,
Oh, yeah.
because they have all the information, they've already done the survey, you know what I
Everything
mean?
else is pretty
It-
easy.
Yeah, we already had the house professionally surveyed.
Yeah, so
we
you've
can go
probably
back
got a
to
survey
them.
plan already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may already show the buffer zones, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. We just need to see it on a
Yeah, it
plan.
may.
But it would be better if you, like I say, it would probably be a little bit less money if you got the same, surveyor who did your original plot plan, or,
Right, because they have a starting point already.
right, he's already
All
got
right.
all the information, everything.
All right.
It's tricky because the river edge is so serrated
Yeah.
that it's going
Well,
to,
it does a little windy
Yeah.
thing.
it's going to,
Yeah, and then there's vegetated wetland above
Yeah.
the bank of the river, so.
Yep.
There's
But
also
that may
buffer
be to
zone.
his advantage. It may do that little twisty thing and give him a corner of the bog where he's got the, that line may do one of these too, so.
Well, this board has been very lenient with you, I'll be honest with you, because if it was up to me, it'd be a different story. As far as my concerns are, is that I feel that if you live on water, you should know what the rules and regulations are to live on water, period. If you don't take the time to know what's going on water, then you're definitely going to have a violation. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go along with the board for now, but I'm going to watch it, and I'll be honest with you, if you fail, I'm going to recommend the board send the paperwork right into Lakeville and let them handle you. That's, I'm telling you right up front what's going to happen.
that's our last
Last resort.
resort, yeah, so.
And I mean, we've shown our good faith. Every time you want us to meet, we've come in right away. You went to our house. I mean, we're not ignoring this.
I understand
so
that.
we
I'm just
do-
telling you what's going to
I
happen if
understand
you
that we
don't.
are taking this seriously. I don't want you to think that we're ignoring it. We
Good.
didn't know. Ignorance is not,
No, I think you
not an
are.
example, but, not an excuse rather, but we are doing whatever we can to fix it.
And that's why
don't
we're
wanna
trying to find a way to
offend
make this work
anybody,
for you.
so-
Right.
But
I'm
I just
just-
don't want you to think that we're not taking it seriously,
No.
because every time you asked us to do something, we have done it.
Okay.
All right, we'll see.
As far as the asphalt ramp goes, I understand the reprocess is it possible to leave the ramp there? Because that's the only way to get down there?
You
I'd
can
leave the
leave the
ramp
ramp
there
there
for
until you
now,
get
until
the
you get the
logs out.
survey.
Remove the stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
The ramp-
Right.
The ramp has
Ramp
been
can
there.
stay until you get
Right.
the logs out.
Yeah.
The ramp itself is not an issue. It was a sand ramp. I looked back.
No, he's
actually-
talking about the asphalt.
Asphalt,
ramp.
but no, but where the asphalt is now, I looked at the,
There was sand before.
There
There
was
was a sand
sand.
ramp there?
it was a sand ramp
Sand
there
ramp
a
before.
year ago,
Yeah.
next week. The
Like I
last
said,
time-
that'd be the last thing, because the logs are where they are.
It's easier for him to get
I
the truck
do
in
the
there.
easy stuff first, and then look for see if either it's on your current plot plan or have it surveyed to the mark. And then, obviously, the ramp's gotta be there if you have to come in and move all those logs.
Right.
It's a pain in the neck to try to move them from the road, because now you gotta put outriggers down, and it's not really wide enough to do that. You need to be on the bog, so, we try to make it easy for you with that respect. I wouldn't dig that out of there right away,
No.
get the
All right.
survey.
Yeah, easier
Get
access for
get
him.
a delineation, so you know where the mark is.
All right.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's very fair, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
And the reason we're trying to work as diligently with you as we possibly can is because you've been upfront with it. You've been, when we've asked you to come in, you've come in, so,
So we'll write this up and then send it
Send a
to them,
copy.
and then have them come in after they've read it
Yeah,
to discuss
Yeah.
what to do next. Okay.
Maybe a couple of weeks at
See.
the next meeting, you just can
Yeah.
come in, we can do it in the same thing as a discussion, doesn't need to be a
or we
hearing,
could do
Right.
it in the office, too. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a meeting, at a
just to
meeting.
see where you're at with it, that's all.
Yeah,
Okay.
come in with some dates, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
You might have information on if it's not surveyed, when it can be, and so we have some time frame, so that this doesn't wind up being August before it kind of gets resolved.
Right, yeah, I don't know what the surveyor's timeframe
You
is.
know, I need one,
Yeah.
go look at your plot plan. You might find it's already on there.
Okay.
Yeah, take a look in your plot plan, see if you see, you know, like a dashed line showing a 200-foot riverfront or a 100-foot buffer. I would think they would have.
You need a 200-foot
They haven't done any
riverfront.
work
Well, they
recently.
bought bogs, they bought bogs with the
Right.
house, so there could have been some agricultural
Right.
plans that went
Yeah,
along with
I'm
the
sure there
whole
would be
thing, too,
somewhere.
so.
I know we have an as-built anyways.
Oh, maybe the as-built would
Yeah,
probably.
all right.
We'll take a look at it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, okay,
Cool, thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so.
So, our next new hearing?
Send her an email.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay.
I hate those things.
So,
I know.
notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:30 PM on Wednesday, February 20th, 2019, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted by Tiffany and Bradley Owen for the construction of a single-family dwelling and garage with associated subsurface sewage disposal system, driveway, utilities, and grading. The proposed driveway and well are within the 65-foot buffer from a wetland resource area bordering vegetated wetland and will require variance under the Carver Wetland Protection Bylaw, section such and such. The proposed dwelling, garage, utilities, and grading are within the 100-foot buffer zone from the BVW, and the proposed septic system is within the 100-foot buffer from a cranberry bog located on the opposite side of Meadow Street. The proposed work is within an area on the site that formerly supported a single-family dwelling. So, okay, yeah, so anything actually within 100 feet is going to require a variance.
I think everything's within 100 feet.
So we'll take a look at.
We have plans on this?
Yeah. Did you, thank you. And
We
did
got
you get a chance
drawings on this?
to drive by?
Yeah, but you can't see much.
No, no, well, the wetlands are pretty obvious. I mean, you could, they would, like, I saw all the wetland flags and everything, so I'm not having a pretty issue with those, but, I mean, it's tight, very tight. There might be a couple in there.
There's another second up.
You get a chance to go by, Sandy?
I did.
Okay.
I drove by yesterday.
There are two sets.
It's pretty, you know, look at the whole,
What's the garage?
looks like a, you know, a chunk of.
Oh, how's they supposed to access it?
So, Mr. Webby.
Property gravel.
Evening, Joe Webby, Webby Engineering. With me is Brad and Tiffany Owen. They're the owners of the property. I guess now it's called 128 Meadow Street. And we have, this is a previously disturbed lot that pre-existed the August of '96. We had Brad Holmes go out there to delineate the resource areas. There's a cranberry bog across the street. There's also a BVW that I have outlined in blue. And we also have a riverfront or top of a bank from a cranberry bog canal. There's another cranberry bog system on this end. We also have our 200-foot from the top of the bank as delineated by Brad. So basically, what the Owens would like to do is construct a house beyond your 65-foot line and beyond the 200-foot riparian zone line, and then put a septic system in the front yard as far away from these wetlands, and there is a street, and they're going to be 90 feet from the cranberry bog across the street. Currently, there's an existing well on the property that they would like to revive. That's over in this area. That's existing. And the only disturbance of the riverfront area is going to be this little area in here. I think I calculated it out. I have it on the NOI. It's around 1,700 square feet, or I can get you that exact. But basically, that's the only area that they're going to be within the riverfront area. So we can keep everything beyond your 65, and that's what they would like to do.
We've been there a couple of times. I'd like to get some remarks from the people, neighbors.
All right.
Only a 5-foot drop
Nowhere
on
else you
the
can.
elevation.
It's, the wetlands are very obvious.
No more truck parking in that area.
Existing one.
Did you have time to drive by?
Yeah,
It's pretty, the wetlands are pretty
Yes.
obvious. I mean, yeah.
yes.
You know, where did we park?
Good, and I think that, you know, despite the fact
No.
that,
It kind of reminds me of the Home Street lot, you know, like,
No,
it
this
doesn't
is
look
not
like,
the
like,
one.
I don't know, well, sorry, there was a house there before.
yeah,
This is further down. That was 80.
That's right.
128.
right, hang on,
This is,
Oh, this is.
a blank
I think so,
I don't,
That's something-
it's a blank lot.
yeah.
Right now, yes.
And then, yeah, so this box over here.
It was pre-existing.
Yeah, it's right there,
There was a
just like
house there
Pope's Point.
yeah,
a while ago.
this gives the locus. This point is the road going here,
Let's see, where am I here?
Yep,
and this is Meadow continuing down south.
yep.
Is there a
So there is a
foundation or
little bit
anything?
of
No.
driveway in the 65.
I don't think
So
so.
there's
Still a
nothing-
tiny
there's
bit of
nothing there
driveway on
now,
the
right?
65, and there's still a tiny bit here.
No, it's been, there's actually a lot of this, has actually no vegetation on it.
There isn't.
That hole.
It had been all cleared and kind of reclaimed.
Yep, got it now. All right.
It looks very, you remember the Home Street lots? It looks very similar to the Home Street lot.
Yeah, oh, no,
Where
I
they
drove
were
by
already
it.
cleared, yeah, yeah.
So I don't,
Actually, you fit it in.
I don't see any problems at all.
Me either.
They did. What is the reason of extending the limit of work into the 200 foot? Because I don't see any part of the home being there, or any of the septic.
Well, just the wells over in that edge,
Well, the well, yeah, but I'm looking here.
Yeah.
The limit of work, does this,
behind the house, yeah.
Yep. You're talking about this little,
Yeah.
little piece here. I honestly can't, I don't know. I mean, obviously, that we could move that back to the 65 if,
Well,
or
yeah,
to the
if
riverfront. I mean,
it doesn't
that's,
serve a
yeah.
purpose, then I would do that.
yeah, I agree.
If
Yeah.
it's not necessary to build a house,
Limited work should be brought right to the 65-foot line. There's
Well, I think they're talking about the riverfront line.
200-foot lot.
200-foot line.
run to the
Right.
200.
Yeah, but I believe that's already previously disturbed in that area. Basically, they're going to have to let this go back natural that has been disturbed, or
I understand
or
that,
plant
but
it
by
back, yeah.
limiting your limit of work to the 200-foot line, that'll grow back sooner.
Yeah, we have no problem with that.
It also eliminates the problem we just got through with, which is 200 feet, so. if
Right.
We sit back and say, yeah, go ahead, that little pot's not gonna be a problem, then
Here we
it
go
creates a
again.
problem for the previous customer that just came here.
I understand a little bit of the limit of work is going to have to be within the 200-foot around the well, because you're going to want to do some work there.
We have to do that.
But-
Yeah,
but
we have
this
to
little-
revitalize the well.
This little bump out here, if it's not needed, I would prefer to see that.
I don't see
The
any.
driveway's gonna remain gravel, it's not gonna be asphalt
If you say so, yes.
eventually,
Yeah,
because that's in the 65,
The little
so.
piece.
right, I have a different feeling on that. I think that you have less siltation if you do pave it, and it's less maintenance, but that's just my personal. Through the years, it just seems like it's easier to take care of if if it is paved. But that's, if you want it not paved, that's fine too.
No, that's,
Gravel.
Yeah,
Gravel
yeah,
down
we're just
the road.
proposing gravel.
right. Well, we need pervious. It
Yeah.
can't be impervious.
Right, exactly so. Around the well, where you're doing that excavation around the well, you know how much stuff comes flying out of that.
It's an existing well. They're just going to,
They're not gonna revamp the well at all.
They have to they have to pump it out.
Yeah,
right,
okay.
yeah. I don't know if it has to be re-drilled.
So I'd like some hay bales around that as well as the,
Well, they said
Well, he's got the-
there's a silt fence.
He's
got a
this-
silt fences that, once they start pumping, you know what that stuff
Oh,
comes up
just
like.
extra.
No, that's the
All
wet.
right,
They don't have it on here.
Just protect the well
See,
from,
that's it.
from
That's it. They should have.
Silting
right around
into
there, they
the,
should have some hay bales, because this stuff will
into
go right through that silt
that
fence.
wet area, that's all.
When they start pumping, that stuff comes up and it'll go right over the silt fence.
Yeah, we did that on Crystal Lake.
Yeah. extra protection for the well, right? And they're gonna move the.
I don't see any other thing.
Limit of work's gonna be at the 200-foot
Yeah.
mark.
It is what it is.
Doesn't mean they still can't have this eventually, but they can't.
And actually, you work, within the 200 foot, you can do stuff that's already degraded,
right,
if it's already, and it pretty much is, like you said, yeah.
Yeah,
There's no vegetation or anything you have to cut, yeah.
I don't want
yeah, I
all
see
that
it,
200
see, it's
foot
all
distance.
bare.
Not right now, no, yeah,
I just don't.
yeah,
So,
since you made such a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I keep the driveway permeable, which is what Savory
Yeah.
likes, and
our
keep the
regulations
existing
like-
well from belching itself into the wet area, keep the thing at the 200-foot mark, and I'm good with the whole project.
Is,
The 200 foot is what we want to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
is the entire house within the 100 feet? I don't see 100 feet marked here.
Yeah, Brooke had showed me that, or she had pointed that out to me, and I did put it on my plan here for.
So it's pretty much the whole
that?
thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just a
No,
whole
it's
bunch
like
of it
buffer,
now.
yeah, it's like a little-
Okay.
Because you have the 100 foot coming from like 5 different directions.
Yeah, I know, I understand that. That's why I wanted to see it.
He's gonna need a variance for the 65 then.
No,
Well,
no,
no, he's outside the 65, within the
So
100.
he can do that.
Well, he needs an NOI.
Still gonna need a, yeah, he's
No,
gonna
he's
need
got
it
an
'cause he's
NOI.
got septic within the 100, he's got
Yeah.
2/3
well,
of the house.
Yeah, but it's not,
The whole driveway.
but it's not part of the 65 is way back here.
65 is currently where we need the variance. We
Right.
don't need a
Right,
variance
we
on
don't need the
100.
variance for the
On 100,
100,
right.
so it's just gonna be, the order of conditions is gonna be stay on the 200, protect the well, and keep this permeable, and the rest of it is good, no? And we're gonna need a variance for the 65 in the driveway.
No, because it's not impermeable. The bylaw states the structure or impermeable
right.
is what you need a variance for. As long as they retain that as gravel,
We're good?
they don't, we have to give them permission, but we don't
Yeah.
need they don't
Okay.
need a variance.
Yeah.
As long as it's, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's why they come before anything in here, that's why they come with the NOI anyhow, you know.
Right, I understand that. I wish there was some way to move that, it's a lot of house outside the 100, between that 65 and 100.
And not much you can do about that. That's a small
No.
lot,
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm-
pre-existing.
Right, I'm just, you know,
Yeah, I hear you.
I think some of these people can find.
were perk tests done on other places? Or they, all along was just
Yeah,
gonna,
when we went out there, we knew we had to stay close to the road.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a one for the-
That would have been it.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't want to say winged it.
I recognize
We
Yeah.
did some measurements, we had wetlands delineated first.
right. But the location of the house where it is now and the septic is based solely on the existing well. Is that correct?
The septic is solely on the well, right. Yeah, the house is, we just tried to situate it someplace right in that area,
Yeah.
within the 65s.
Okay,
I mean, there's
It's
a little
inside
room
the
to move it
65.
over this way.
I don't know why you'd want to.
no, I mean,
It's up to
it's
you.
just me thinking,
Yeah, I
me
understand.
thinking out loud. You know, they're going from the existing well to where they put
The
this.
septic, right. yeah.
Right.
Right.
If they were to find that they could put a well here, they could put the septic up here and move the house further away from the 65. That's a lot of house within the 100 feet.
Yeah.
It's outside the 60.
Right,
You know,
you're right,
it's-
you're right. But given the situation there, it's such a small lot and it's the shape of it, I'd say to go with
And
it.
it's pretty much, you don't have to do a lot of tree cutting.
Any neighbors?
They don't have to do a lot of tree cutting or anything like
Yeah.
that, so.
I hear what you're
Yep,
saying.
there's no trees at all.
All right, it's
Just
that
little
precedent
disturbance.
word
Yeah,
that I hate.
but I think,
Special
I think
conditions.
that
We'll do the precedent thing.
we're outside the 65, and I think we're gonna hold them to the 200. The well's already there.
I think, did you go to the Board
Yeah,
of
it's a
Health?
pre-existing well.
Did you go to Board of
Yeah.
Health, Joe? Do you have to
No, I
go?
did talk to Kevin
Yeah.
about this. We have not asked for that variance yet, no.
Oh, okay.
But,
So that would be.
plans have, yeah, they've been submitted to the Board of Health.
Yeah.
We haven't been before the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a variance on
Any
that.
abutters, Mr. Chairman?
I don't believe so.
We'll have to see.
Are there any butters? Only relatives, right?
We want Plaques also.
You're not against it,
At
is
the
that what you're
65.
telling me?
You better not be. And we could, you want to have them put up some of
Yeah,
our
plaques.
plaques?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, 50 feet apart.
How big's this? I don't think I'd go crazy with the things.
Yeah, I don't want.
Yeah, we
that
want
whole
to
can't put 'em
our
down in the
conservation
driveway.
plaques.
No.
You know,
I
those
do
things,
it
yeah.
across the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That whole pink line, though, is really,
Yeah.
anything out between the pink lines and the blue lines can't be touched once the house is built and the work stops.
Yeah, so we should
It
put
can't
those.
be lawn, it can't be playground, it can't be,
Right.
how about if we just have posts 1, 2, say 3, 4, just around the back of it, sort of.
50 feet
to
apart,
draw
there's
the-
gotta be a,
That's not 60, you know what I mean? But, so,
okay.
how many do you think?
4,
5?
5.
5 or
okay.
6.
Yeah,
of them.
five.
Five on the
five-
65?
Right.
Is that all right?
Right, I just want to make sure that the homeowners know that there's a 65-foot no-touch zone. Your driveway encroaches in that, and as long as it's gravel, it's not really a problem. But that 65-foot line, which is in pink, once you're finished with all your building and everything, that's got to go back to nature. You've got to let that grow wild, you've got to let whatever trees and shrubs grow up in there, untouched them. There's no mowing allowed, and this, again, is state law. There's no,
Well, that's at the 65 foot now.
Right.
Okay, all right.
at the pink line. So
Got the pink line.
what we're talking about here is the Carver Conservation Commission has small plaques that you purchase. They're not expensive.
2,500 apiece.
I think she just fell over.
And we ask you to put them at the 60-foot 5 line around the perimeter of your property, just as a reminder that that's as far as really you can go.
On a pressure-treated post, about
Right.
foot, 2 foot off the ground.
No, there's
It was
something.
off a little bit, $2,495 off. They're $5.
And write the
There's-
check to me.
There is one other thing that I like to do, that is to apply for a certificate of occupancy, certificate of compliance prior to moving into the home, so that so we don't end up with all these emergencies we run into all the time, or they're closing on a house, they're selling the house, and they never get a COC. So by doing this, we'll have the compliance already done. You understand what I'm saying now?
Yeah, well, they should, actually, once the house is finished,
Yes,
they should be getting a certificate of compliance.
compliance right
Yeah.
away, rather than, you know what happens, we've
Right,
run
they
into
don't
that a
get
few
it.
times now.
People,
Okay.
20 years
So we'll
later,
put that
they're
in.
going to sell the house and they don't have it.
Yeah, we have, that is a standard order that we have.
Yeah,
that
but
they
nobody
get that
pays
within the-
attention to it, so if we put it in the order of conditions.
Right. Nobody reads.
Okay.
You good?
Well,
Good,
Joe knows.
yeah,
you want to take a vote on this? sir?
I make a
Yeah,
motion, we close the hearing for 128 Meadow Street. Do we have a number?
Oh, we
I
didn't.
just,
We
before,
didn't when he
Oh,
did the agenda.
wait a
It's
minute.
Wait, one.
580, right?
before we
126,
close
580.
the hearing,
You got
I
the
just
date?
want to state for the record that we have
SC
talked to
126580.
other applicants, and we've asked them to make adjustments to move
Oh, yes.
homes out.
Right.
And I,
Mr. Emerson in particular, a few
well,
other people.
yes.
Yeah, but I agree, but those instances, they were houses right next door. There's going to be nobody for 100 miles around this house. There's nothing.
It
This
doesn't
is-
make a
this is
difference
an
whether there are
island
houses
unto
next door, it's
itself,
the
and-
water. It's where the
It's the
water.
I
outlets
understand.
Where the
facing,
water
yeah.
is.
I just think that,
Is that right? SC 126.
I just think that with the configuration of the lot, that another plan might be investigated, but I just think it sets a bad precedent with almost the entire house within the 100-foot.
I really think that it's almost the only way that can be put in there
Okay.
that well.
All right, fine. Then,
Aside, yes, you
can close
mentioned
the
moving
hearing.
the septic
Did a
system.
different, maybe,
All right.
situated.
The only reason
differently.
I tend to agree with Jim, and don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying, but I think that it eliminates them having any yard of any kind if they shift the house over some more. Now they're gonna have a little yard, a little yard, a little yard. You know? I mean, I'll go along with the will of the board, but
All right, oh, I don't see it that way. I think there's something that can be done here, but, you know, let's have a vote. Let's close the hearing and have a vote.
what do you think, Mr. Chairman?
I go for closing the hearing.
All I'm saying is to investigate it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to look at,
to see if there's an option.
I don't think there's any way we can not have some of the house within this.
Oh,
Right.
yes, that's right, Joe, but
I agree.
over where the 101-foot, what's the height marker is, and that outer line of work, limit of work, where they come down in the corner there, is it possible you could site the well over there? That's what
They're
Sadie
gonna have
was
to,
saying.
they're gonna have to re-perk. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's, you'd have to re-perk,
they
right?
gotta start from square one all over again.
Not necessarily.
Not
Re-perking
necessarily.
is one
Well,
thing,
they gotta re-perk.
yes? And then, if they found that they could put the well in there and move the septic system over and then, as Savory said, the house could be moved a little straighter facing the road and a little closer to it.
Well,
So it'd be,
Mr.
for-
Chairman,
So I'm saying, put
Then you
the
gotta move
well
the
here.
drive.
I understand what you're saying,
think
but
the wind is enough.
there's already a pre-existing well.
That's
Now
right.
you're gonna have to,
Right.
now you're gonna tell them that they have to
Yeah.
abandon that well and
no,
put a
they were
new
going,
one in?
they'd be going to, for a new well anyway.
Well,
on that
actually,
site.
they're gonna refurbish
They're just
what's
gonna
there. They're not
Yeah.
gonna go for a whole new well.
That's what our plan is.
And the wire is already down, so
I don't
the
think that
expense
nothing's
that
been
you're
gained.
asking is,
You know,
All
again,
I'm asking is to investigate the possibility. If they come back and they say it's gonna cost too much money, then that becomes a hardship, and then we deal with it that way. I think that if we're going to allow this, we have to have a
Reason for it.
solid reason to do that without it. I think that we have to look at other options because we've asked other builders to do the same
Yeah.
thing.
So in that case, we would continue.
That's what I would say, and ask that they investigate the possibility of trying to relocate the parts of this project so that the house itself is less intrusive into the 100-foot.
Yep, may I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that we have to watch out for is the 50-foot setback from the street line. That's, we're not gonna be able, I mean, we can maybe slide this a little bit.
but you're still,
Right now with
Yeah.
50s off.
Okay.
so you're still, if you take the 50-foot off, you're not gonna slide it much at all.
green thing
Yes,
is
in other words, we're right from here now,
this much.
we're right about 60 feet now. So I mean, we may be able to
Still gonna be
scrunch it this way a
within
little.
100 no matter
Okay.
where you put the house.
This one's even a little bit closer.
Well,
No, it's a little further.
if you slid the
You
septic
can save
system,
10 feet.
if you slid the septic system up here, Joe, couldn't you then bring the house this way?
Closer to the well?
But you have to remember,
No, further
We
from
have
that.
to put another well. I think
That
that's
would,
what-
yeah,
that's,
Yeah, I-
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
I mean,
I'm asking to investigate. I'm not saying
yeah.
that.
Why don't you see what it would cost to put, how much would that to the cost to put another well in?
Sure.
They're driving a
Yeah.
well.
Well, never mind the cost of the surveyor, too. I mean, we've gotta start thinking of all these things.
Yeah,
This is a young couple I've seen
I'm
sitting over
opposed to
there.
this.
Uh,
I'm opposed
You
to
know,
this.
I think I would take it as, we're gonna save 10 feet.
Yeah, I'm opposed to I'm opposed to making them jump through these hoops to gain 10 feet, to revamp the entire drawing, throw it in the trash, start all over again, and
Okay.
we're still gonna have to give you something within the 100.
Calm down, Gertrude, right? Okay. It's, our assignment is to protect the wetlands as much as possible.
Okay.
And so we do have to consider that.
I don't want to make it hard on anybody, but we've asked other people to do the same thing, and it costs them money to do that.
Okay.
Well, these were builders. This is a young couple that's just
Yeah.
trying to build a home for themselves. I think the 10 feet we save
It's not
is-
10 feet that we're saving. What we're doing is,
We're gonna move, if we can move that thing forward 10 feet, maybe.
actually, we could probably move it forward about 30 feet.
No, I don't know, you
I don't
need
think they
50
can.
feet off the road.
Yeah, he has a setback from the
Still gotta be
road.
50 feet off
The
the road.
road is way out here, okay? It's 1 inch equals 50 feet, so if the,
Right now, that corner's 60 feet from the road.
okay.
So
Oh, this, now wait, this black line is the road layout?
That's correct, yeah.
Ah, that's okay, because I'm looking at the road on the map.
Pavement's way out there.
Yeah.
We don't.
Okay, well, that does
The
change my
line
opinion.
changes everything.
Okay. Uh, In that case, no, I don't think we should bother with it.
I'll vote
Okay.
either way you want to do it, I'll vote.
Okay,
I don't think you can gain in a lot.
So the heavier solid line is where you do your setbacks from?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the actual ownership of the town, right?
Okay.
That makes it a little bit.
If you
As
go
I
out there, it
found
looks
out-
like you get a lot more room,
Yeah.
but you don't.
I found on Old Main Street when I planted some trees, which they cut down. Okay,
So now what's your pleasure, Mr. Chairman?
let's have a motion to close the hearing.
I make a motion, we close the hearing for 128 Meadow Street, SE 126580.
In a second? Tim?
I'll second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to close the hearing for 128 South Meadow Street. Or Meadow Street, not South Meadow. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those, okay, so we have two ayes. I think I'll vote aye. Savory, are you a nay?
I'm a nay.
Okay, so it's the vote is 3-1.
3-1-0.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah, 3-1, just
I don't know how
3-1.
to do that.
Yeah,
I'm taking the minutes.
3-4, 1 against, no abstention.
I understand that, but I thought you
Right.
didn't vote.
Okay, but it's a go.
Now we're looking for a motion to approve the, I make a motion, we approve the NOI as drawn for 128 Meadow Street, SE 126580, with the following stipulations: that the existing well area be protected from silt into the
Wetlands.
wetlands, that the 200-foot outer barrier be maintained, and that there be 5 posts marking the 65-foot wetland area on the side, across the back, and up the north side. Is that right? North side of the property?
You have to change the limit of work, Al.
Otherwise, as drawn, huh?
The limit of work.
Yeah, that's what he
has
said.
to be
Yeah, that's what I
brought up
said.
to the
Say the
200 foot.
200
The 200-foot limit of work will be the 200-foot marker,
Thank you.
and the rest of the program as drawn.
Rest of the plan. Okey-doke.
Okay, and
I agree.
second motion on that, a second on that?
I'll take a second on that.
Okay, been moved and seconded to amend, is this, basically, we're amending the motion, previous motion, and for the statements that Alan made, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed?
It's passed 3-1.
3-1-0.
3-1-0.
Okay,
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm up next.
Good.
I'm gonna stay.
Thank
You're
you.
up again?
I think so.
yeah.
You are. Okay.
hard
Oh,
to-
anyway, sign this
What'd you say,
so I don't
South
forget.
Main is,
Yeah, then we have this
Okay,
one.
Continued hearing.
This is,
Right.
Joe Webby surveyed my lot in
always leave you
1980.
with a good spot.
Pass these on.
You're welcome.
The next one.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, what is this one?
There you go, Mr. Chairman.
And this is, oh, we haven't announced this one, please.
It's gonna be horrible, I'll tell you.
This is, what, 12 Pondview Way?
David, if you deny.
Is this
will
12
we still
Pondview Way?
sign?
Is this 12 Pondview Way? What are we looking at?
Yes. Yeah, it was a continued one, so you don't have
Right,
to
don't need
read
to
it.
next.
We're gonna make Mary Ann watch the video, and she'll take
Okay.
the minutes.
You know,
But just for the record, for those people at home, as the selectmen would say,
Grab that so I don't lose it.
this hearing is a continued hearing on 12 Pondview Way. And to hear the notice of intent for the construction of a new single-family dwelling to replace the existing dwelling with associated subsurface sewage disposal system, driveway, utilities, and grading. Okay. So, Mr. Webby.
Yeah, Joe Webby, Webby Engineering. And I think it's good month and a half ago that one of my associates, Steve Katowski, was here. There's a little history with this lot. The commission had issued an order of conditions, I believe, back in 2012. No work was done. It had expired. At that time, we were asked to just resubmit a new notice of intent with the Bill Snow plan. Bill has since retired. The commission had asked Steve for us to go out there and prepare a new plan, basically get the wetlands redelineated, do our own topography, and so that any order of conditions that would be issued on the new plan and not the old plan. The other thing that the commission had asked for at the time was that we take the proposed dwelling and move it beyond the 65-foot, and so we did that also, so that the only work we're doing now, other than raising the house, is proposing a well that would be the 100 feet from the septic system, and the septic system would be beyond the 100 feet, and just obviously a little part of the house would be beyond the 100 feet.
Is this a clear down through?
Right.
This is all overgrown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So the only thing in the 65 is the well,
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do some protection down
and
here.
the dwelling's got to be where it is because of the
Yeah,
setback.
silt fence not gonna work.
Okay.
So he's,
Side 65, so it's like half the house is in
Have
the
to make sure they stay within
but the
these
entire septic's out of the
Right.
60,
Yep.
it's actually out of the 100.
30 feet wide.
And after they've done it,
You have to
to let it
re-
grow back
recondition it.
except for a path to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
How wide is your limit of work at the 65-foot line? Here, do you know?
10 scale.
Yes.
We're about to
Right there, yeah.
That's about, let's see, almost, let's say 30 feet.
Why does it
Okay.
have to be that wide?
Well,
Oh,
there's a
because you
house
get the
there.
house,
All right.
got to take the
Okay.
house out. Well, our
Right.
concern is the last time we saw people do this, they had this silt fence, and they showed it like this, but when we went out there, it was down like 30 feet wide. You know, we want to keep it as narrow as possible. Hay bales around the bottom again, because of the wetlands.
Double, yeah, okay,
So-
silt fence in here.
Yeah, silt fence with hay bales behind it.
Right, and after you have done the work, raising the building and putting in the well and everything, what we'd like to see done is maintaining a path only as wide as is needed to service the well.
Sure.
And let the rest grow in.
Yeah.
That's easily can be in your order conditions.
Now,
Yep.
the
Same
driveway
thing with
comes
the
right
mark
off
is
the
it's
front of
65
Pondview.
foot mark.
We're still proposing to have a driveway.
Same in the same
Yeah.
spot.
Two.
This is good. See, this is,
Yeah.
That works.
this addresses almost everything we asked.
It does.
for.
That's like a little path, just to really get to the well to maintain.
I want to make sure, I think there
Such a
are
jungle
people
down
here
there.
Yeah.
who want to take a look at the drawing.
Maybe we want to put them on 10-foot orange posts.
You're more than welcome to.
Plaques?
There it is, right up there.
2 plaques enough?
Take a good look at it. Everything's off that main highway or main road up in front. If you want to see it.
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Savory, what do you think? Like 8 feet wide in the path to get down to the well area?
Yeah, I think that 8-10.
I like
And
that
we're gonna
one.
get maybe a couple of plaques across the back for the 65?
Yeah.
I would do that.
Jim had suggested 2.
Up over there.
Yeah, that's
See,
fine.
And the driveway is way down to the left.
This is a
down
good
there.
example of,
That open
they've
area
got the
down to
house
left, that's where the
as
driveway
far
is.
away from it as they can and still have the setback on the frontage.
This is a good example of them looking, or.
At an
listen-
alternative.
Planning ahead.
Listen, no, this is the second plan we've seen.
Yeah,
Right. They had that
Listening to
1997 plan.
us and
Yeah.
coming back with an alternative.
right.
Oh, the well is.
Oh, they had that 97
They had the
plan.
1997 plan, remember? That they used, you said we can't.
This looks good.
When I last had it, you said, yeah, you can't even understand it.
Beginnings, and he totally is like, oh, I won't pay for a new survey. Then you're gonna get,
The way it works.
It sure is.
don't tell you to, so.
Couldn't get down there.
No, that's right. I couldn't do it.
No.
You're right. I looked at it as, you have
Yeah,
fun,
we had-
guys. I let you guys.
We had a problem getting down
Yeah.
there.
Bunny's Road, this is off of Bunny's Lane?
Jeez, that's a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
sounds
fill.
like funky.
It's outside the 100.
So your septic system is
Yeah,
supposed to
kind
go
of.
well.
Oh,
This
no,
is on
no.
the pond.
No, it's not off, it's actually,
So how are they gonna,
it's on
what's the
fresh.
elevation of the
Oh, it
house?
is, you do go down.
Elevation of the house.
Floor is
Yeah, it was
101.
94.
Slab 94.
Hidden Village.
Oh,
Okay, so they're gonna go down a little bit, because this is, here's 93,
Yeah,
right there.
because 94 is right here.
Yeah, here's 94. This is 94.
So that's great.
Yeah.
I know this is all water here.
So there's fill here of a foot, foot and a half, maybe 2 feet. So you're gonna have to do some work out here.
Yeah, well, that's within
Well, that's
the
okay, yeah.
area of work anyway.
That works, yeah. Next door to each other.
He's still in the
There's plenty of water underneath. This is the best aquifer in the country, is underneath Plymouth County.
Yeah, but the water ain't the greatest.
Well, that's,
Water's tough. The closer you get to the pond, yes, water's terrible. Water's terrible.
plenty of water.
There's plenty of water, but it's good, but it's not good water.
So you can move that outside. Now we need a bigger.
I mean, I have no, the house is there now.
I know.
So which worse?
Best to be raised and put something better, put a new house there. But, you know, and hopefully that when it gets, this gets all removed, I hope when it gets removed, it gets disposed of properly.
It can't be.
Everything, yeah, everything has to be done.
Could I suggest that you include the board in your conversation, please?
Okay, I'm sorry.
We'd like to-
My name is Bonnie Colgan. I live at 13 Pondview Way, okay? I don't live there, I own the property, okay? And I was bringing up the subject, my septic, I know my septic system is somewhere in here,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And he's put, he's got my well here, and his well's there. I know it was brought up for being 100 feet away. And then I also asked a question about, is there rules or regulations against having two wells close together?
No,
Not two wells, no doubt.
not two wells,
Dave.
wells and septic, the well and the septic, are the-
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, I have no qualm about putting another house, I just hope, because what's there now is, I mean.
It's a
it looks like
mess.
being in Maine. I call it Maine, it looks like Maine.
It's a mess. It'll be an improvement.
I've seen a lot of those houses up in Maine,
It's also
so.
been helped the town because of tax revenue and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as it's done by your blessing, I have, you know.
Board of Health would have to sign off on the well anyhow, so if it was an
And the
issue.
septic.
And the septic, so Board of Health would be involved in it.
And also there was an issue about how he's gonna how you get access to the house, you know, the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
It's so steep of a grade there.
Yeah, we're looking at it. Looks like I was looking at the slab under and so forth. I mean, there's gonna be some fill over there, but, it's outside the 100 foot. We have no responsibility to that at all.
That's right, that's
As far as, we take everything from 100 foot off the BBW in.
Okay.
Anything outside of that,
And that's the green line on
That's
that.
the green line.
see
right
that
there.
green line?
Yep.
Everything inside of that
You take
is us.
Yeah.
jurisdiction from there.
Everything outside,
From here out,
planning.
okay.
Yep, and everything inside the red is sacred.
Yes, from the red to the blue.
That's a little bit,
65.
yeah, that's a little bit tougher
Yeah.
to overcome.
And they've taken the old, I mean, they put the new house, you know, farther outside the 65, which is
Yes,
good.
That's what he says, he's gonna
Right.
propose, the house is kinda like crooked on the lot, and he's gonna straighten it out on the lot.
It's
And
gonna
move it
bring it
back.
forward too, if you take
Yeah.
it
Bring it
off.
forward
back
and
from
get
the
it out
water.
of the 65.
So I'm happy with that.
Yep.
Get it out of the 65.
All right.
And so what are you gonna be, was it one-story house or two-story house, what do you got proposed?
I believe it's gonna be at least a story and a half. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, probably two.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you get the more bang for your buck if you go up.
Exactly.
you been to
But then
planning?
You can design a septic system in that,
Yes.
in that area, which is kinda, you know, this,
I think we've
what
got
do
a
you got, 1,500 gallon
You just
tank
gotta
now?
plan it or not.
3-bedroom,
No,
2-bedroom going in there? Okay.
Board of Health would. Do you have to go to planning, Joe?
we have to
You
go
don't-
to zoning.
Zoning, okay. Not planning, okay.
So you'll be notified when you go to zoning.
Yeah, so that's just like we were notified about the, well, we already knew about this meeting, but the first one you had, we were notified.
What's the zoning issue here?
Yeah, why are you going to zoning? What's the issue with
Because
that?
it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's going to be a new non-conforming.
They need 60,000
Everything
square feet.
pre-existing, it's non-conforming now, it's gonna be non-conforming because our setbacks,
Right,
I
but,
think now are almost 12 feet, they're supposed to be 30, this is supposed to be 50, and it's 20.
Right.
21, so we have to go to zoning.
Thank God for grandfathers.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep, all right.
All right,
Just went through this on Crystal last meeting, right? 2
Yes.
meetings ago.
Yeah.
Where we had to throw every rule in the book out in order for them to do anything with, the house on
Septics
Crystal
and
Lake.
wells and
Sure.
everything.
The house was literally 7/10 of a foot off the lot line. I mean, you can't tell them to tear it down and make it a vacant lot, you gotta give somewhere.
okay.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Are you okay? sir?
It's much better than the old plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
all set?
I'll start, I have no issues.
Okay, good. Take care, have a good evening.
Thank you.
That's it?
Well, we're gonna vote on it.
We'll vote on it, but
It's
we've
not
agreed
over
to
till
pass
the
it.
vote is in.
Yeah,
We're waiting for the vote.
Never know.
I'm voting nay, so.
Never know what could happen.
Now, we'll get notified about the vote that you guys decide?
No.
That's tonight.
We're gonna do that right now. You'll be notified when it goes to zoning. You'll be getting a certified letter for the abutters. If is he within the abutter?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're on either side of them, they're on one side, they're on
You can bring the torches and baseball bats that night if you want to zoning.
All right. All right, we set?
Take
you.
care.
Thanks.
yeah.
I'll
So,
let you do this one if you want.
All right, I'll make a motion that we close the hearing on 12 Pond View Way, NOI SC 126-572.
I'll second.
been moved and seconded to close the hearing on 12 Pondview Way. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimous. Okay. And now, approval of the,
Passed unanimously, 4-0.
that's okay, we closed the hearing, but we
To
haven't.
close the hearing. We
Okay.
haven't approved the
Now,
project.
now, let's see. A motion to approve the plan,
The notice of intent.
the notice of intent.
I'll make a motion that we approve the notice of intent for 12 Pond View Way, NOI SE 126-572.
I will second.
With the following exceptions to it?
Well, with the conditions as.
the conditions
With
added.
conditions as put forth by the agent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been moved and seconded to issue the NOI for 12 Pondview Way with the conditions as noted by the agent. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any opposed? Pass unanimous.
You notice how we didn't run out of here too soon?
It's like an
Thank you very
8-foot,
much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Joe.
Take
Joe.
care.
8-foot wide to
It's
the
good seeing you
wall.
again.
Wide, yep,
2 65-foot marker posts.
yep, 2 plaques.
Yeah, and I think that was it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right, it's just, yeah,
Like an 8-foot
markers,
path to the
once
well.
once the work
Once
is
the
done to
well.
raise the house, to just allow a
And then,
Okay.
But we
path
wanted
to the well.
We wanted to add in the wells section.
We did.
Oh,
We did.
okay.
Yep, we had that in, yep,
The bales and,
yeah.
the extra hay
And
bales.
a couple of plaques.
Yeah. couple
And
of plaques.
88 South
for
Main
us.
is continued, you said?
And then 88 South Main requested a continuance
Oh, okay.
We have to vote on that?
Terrible.
till whenever. Till the next
That's
meeting
it?
in March, which we
Yeah.
haven't scheduled
tell me
yet.
we're done?
Yeah.
We have to,
You gotta
we have the
read
minutes.
2 sets of
We
minutes,
need to-
and you gotta sign that.
Vote on 88 South Main to
Continuance,
continue?
we can
No,
vote on it.
they wouldn't, that's up to them,
Okay, so
so we
it's
don't
been
really have to vote
granted.
on that, they request a continuance.
Okay. Mhm. I don't know what happens. Every time I come to these meetings, I don't have a pen.
Huh? What happens?
I don't have a pen.
Oh,
That's all right. That's why I bring extra. It's gotta go that direction, so.
No, we have pens.
do that.
Got some prepared people over there.
Okay.
Are those special Allen pens?
Yeah, is your name spelled right on these pens?
It is,
On the what?
On Alan's
Oh,
pens.
geez.
it is.
I like.
Oh, God, okay.
Keep it. I got,
I do,
hundreds
I
of
think I got a red one. The other one has red.
Okay,
those
let's
are the
look at
ball
these
points.
minutes.
These are the,
Oh, the ballpoint ones?
I got ballpoints and I got,
Okay, we'll lift those up.
The Boy Scout stuff, Boy Scout.
Brooke, should we have these photos on our computer too? Because I've got these thing here. You can download them onto your computer. if you want
Oh,
to.
okay.
Actually, you can
I
have,
think,
you can
did you
have,
send them to me?
I don't think I actually did.
I don't think you did either.
they're on
Dee's
D's,
computer, yeah.
so D can email them to you too.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
I
I'll-
could
that would-
email them if you want, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would give, you should send a copy to Stephen.
Yeah.
I know Stephen wanted a copy.
Well, I know, oh, yeah, because I know he had some. Didn't he show some? to
I
the-
gave Stephen two that I had taken.
Oh, maybe it was
And then
yours.
he saw these, but he doesn't
Yeah.
have a copy. He was gonna probably get a printed copy from D. I don't know if he did or not.
Okay, I can
So
send
Dee
you
has
that.
them all? She does
Dee
have
has
all
them
of
on her computer, because she printed out two sets for me. I have one set, and Alan Dunham got the other set.
Oh, okay.
My CD DVD burner has died, and I got a replacement one, and I finally hooked it in, and it's not cooperating, so.
All right, so you got 2 minutes to read, right? 2 minutes to approve?
Would make a motion to approve the minutes as written for February 6th.
I just have one thing, that on page 3 in the last paragraph, where it says Ed Garner, Peltola Lane is in a butter who came up and spoke. He is opposed to the addition of the width on the road. He actually was confused about which road it was. He thought it was the one that had the stockade fence on either side, which is the roadway going into the transmission station.
Oh,
Yes, that's right.
So I think that should just be in there.
To say that he was,
Right, and it was, I think it was Gary from Sovereign Energy
right.
told him that he was mistaken, that the road that they would be using for the solar energy storage, or for the energy storage, was further south on Main Street and not the one that goes to the transmission
oh,
facility.
okay.
And I met him Saturday and took him right to the site on that correct road. And he pointed out to me that the site is much bigger than we'd walked. We just walked about a quarter of it. It continues way back alongside the switching yard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you can see the trees are marked
know-
way back to there.
It's funny that you should say that, because I talked with the building inspector yesterday,
Yeah,
and he said that we don't have a fee schedule for permitting for these things.
mm-hmm.
And if you took what other towns are doing, a 1%, it's like a $70,000 permit fee or something, like some stupid number. He says, because we don't have, we need to get,
Why don't we have?
Michael.
he says, we don't have any projects that are of this value that
We haven't established it,
we
that's
haven't
right.
established the fees for it yet.
It's just like we didn't have for
So
putting
he
solar
was
on
Supposed to
bogs.
establish the fees? Who's going to establish the
No, the
fees?
building, that would be probably planning.
Aren't you on planning?
No. Give me a break, will you?
So you just want me to
The
put that. he
planner
was-
will have to bring that to their attention.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be the planner, and then it's.
Somebody should
That
know about
Mr.
that.
Garner
I mean,
was
that's some
mistaken about
serious
where the-
dineros coming
where
out
the
of the
access
town.
road was.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's some serious money there.
Yeah.
Yep, and Mr. Garfield explained that it was
Okay.
the dirt road with the gate further south on Route 58. That was going to be the access road to the battery storage facility.
So then my motion is to approve the minutes as amended.
And then I just saw one too, Josh Sulger, it's actually Chris, they got the 17 Wareham. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, no, that's 98 Meadow, never mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, wrong name.
That's why you do it in pencil.
Oh, it's Chris, yeah, you're right. Never mind, okay.
All right, I will second that motion about the minutes,
As amended.
On February 6th.
February 6th.
That's all we're dealing with right this minute.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
It's been moved
What,
and
Jim?
seconded.
It's been moved and seconded.
We have to vote.
Really?
Is that? What'd you say?
Yes.
You didn't hear it
Wasn't
from
really
me,
sure.
Mr. Chairman. You
Wasn't
didn't hear it from
really
me.
sure.
What'd you say?
And I had just said,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, asking a question.
You were getting it from
I
the
wasn't
right
the one.
side.
What were we talking about?
You had to be there.
Oh, I wasn't. I'm
Okay.
plugged up, I can't hear you.
Okay.
I'm close.
Regarding the minutes of February 6, 2019, it's been moved and seconded to approve them as amended. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Pass unanimous. Now, let's see. The next one, February 13th.
13th I read.
I have a comment. I like the new fees for the Conservation Commission. I like that piece of paper. That should be, I assume that that's going to try to be attached to the bylaw so that it's right out there in the open.
Yep,
Right.
I like that a lot.
that is supposed to be on the website.
I like the informational summary. Yeah, that's, it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this came out pretty nice.
Has this been shared yet with
Not yet.
Stephen and Michael?
Michael's out this
And,
week. He's, because he won't
oh, I
be
guess
here
because I
tomorrow.
didn't hear back from everybody.
Vacation?
Took his
When you
son
sent everything
back
out,
to
but
college or something.
I mean, like, I didn't hear from Tim or Jim, but everybody's okay. When we left the meeting, so.
He'll be back as soon as he finds out that there's those fees available.
I would make a motion that we accept the minutes of February 13th as written.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes from February 13th as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimous.
Our next meeting is when?
We don't have one scheduled.
We don't, okay.
So we haven't really haven't had any filings.
Well,
Can
we
have-
might as well talk about this enforcement order before we adjourn and when we want to have a next meeting to deal with this enforcement order.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I think,
We have to draw up the enforcement order. I'll be glad to come in and work with Brooke on that.
Okay,
You give me a time, I'll be here, we could sit down and go through it.
okay.
I've done a few of them.
we're going to send it to them.
We're gonna send it to them, and they're gonna look at it, and then we could maybe when
Make an
I send
appointment
a
to have
cover
them
letter, we
come
could
in.
say, come into this such and such.
On such and such a
make me,
date.
You know, a time for that.
Right. Okay.
All right,
So
why don't we
why
do
don't
that?
we do it 4 weeks from tonight?
That would be the 20th of March?
Right.
Let's do that, and then that way we have more time, we'll
That's
have time to get
convenient, 'cause
some,
for some reason I already have it in there for conservation
good.
on the 20th.
well, it is, because it's a third
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And we don't have any other filings, so there's nothing on the 6th, so then we'll have the continued one for 88 South Main, and then hopefully get maybe another one or two
Right,
filings.
and
by-
that'll give him a little time to
Yeah,
start
yeah.
moving stuff around if the weather,
And get a surveyor and all that kind of stuff.
we're
Okay,
almost
so
in
we'll
the
have-
mud season.
So next meeting will be the 20th.
I hope those people realize how lenient you guys are.
You know what?
Well, I kind of believe that he didn't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He didn't look, he
Give
didn't know
everybody
because
the
he didn't look.
benefit of the
Tim,
first
I was
time.
thinking he could move those trees up to this side of the house there. I think
That's
that'll
close
be.
to the bog, but
It was close to, yeah, but
it's not the river.
It's a river, that's right. Yeah. And as long as they're part of
Doesn't he
the
have, like, a good
operation.
parking area up in
Whatever
there,
you said.
where the garage is and stuff?
I don't know what's, he's got a guy living there who is repairing lobster traps in the big shed. And
Looking at the overhead.
Which part are you looking at?
I was thinking
To
about
put it-
putting the trees here along there, alongside the bog. See, it'll be-
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So that'd be well away from the, I think, 200
Yeah.
feet from the riverfront.
Yeah.
Yes, it should be. I looked today, and the 200-foot really goes almost right along this line and then cuts across here because the river comes.
Is
Yeah,
that, is that
that's
his garage right there?
That's,
That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
garage,
house and
okay.
garage.
Right.
House and garage.
Now,
okay.
by the 20th, that means they're gonna have some kind of
A plan in place.
plan
All we
in
need is a
place.
plan.
well,
And
what
that
we,
gives him time to
I'm
get a
not looking for
surveyor.
miracles, it's still wintertime, so, I mean, I'd like to see him maybe pull the logs off the
Off the water.
embankment
Right off the
and get some
bank.
of that trash out of there, but I'm not looking for a miracle to be done.
And then where we cut to the river, if he just leaves that alone, it's gonna grow back.
It's gonna
You
grow
think it
back.
will?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
Oh, definitely will.
Oh, I
but
saw a
he's
lot
got to
of
remove
green
the
down
logs,
there.
all the
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, but there was a lot of fresh cut stalks that are gonna grow crazy
I'll
as soon
tell
as
you
the
what,
warm weather hits
may
anyhow.
That's
I
right
make
there,
the
isn't it?
suggestion?
Yeah.
May I make the suggestion that we have them put a sign right there,
The plaques?
a plaque right there? Mm-hmm. Because I guarantee you, if we don't put something there, they're gonna continue to use that.
Yeah, but the problem is if we make them put a sign right there, they're gonna think they can be on this side of the sign and everything is fine.
The enforcement, we can
I don't know what else to do.
Let's see, okay.
Right.
This area to
That was
be,
the area
just
that cut to
not
the
one of
right.
our
Right,
signs,
that's
like, this area not to be disturbed, boom.
That
Shrubs
will,
and
yes,
stuff,
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
But that indicates that this area on this side of it can be.
Yeah. The,
Right.
I agree. You're right, Al.
This
So
stuff-
I'm,
this stuff will come out.
you know, that's like
Yeah.
the stop sign's over here, I don't have to stop back here.
Yeah.
That's the stop sign.
See, because that's right in the wetland right
We're gonna
Right.
do that, I'd
Exactly.
rather see a
Just throw
stop
the
sign
eggs
at
there,
the
so why not?
200-foot mark.
Yep. He's to pull it
This is
back
it.
that way.
Right.
That's an idea.
I don't know.
That's awfully
I think,
hard to
I think
do,
he's
though.
going to get it.
Rid of that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what they come up with.
All right, I'll bring these pictures and you come in and we do the enforcement. and we
I'd be
can look
glad
and
to come
see.
in with you,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
I'd make a motion, we adjourn?
I will second that.
Alan made motion to adjourn and Savory second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All
Time
those
is
in
it,
favor,
8:30?
please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Pass unanimous.
Nighty-night.
30?
We're out.